Hello everyone, this side Mayank Jhunjhunwala from IIT Kanpur. So today in this session we will be discussing some of the PYQs on the chapter Quadratic Equations and Inequalities. These all are the questions from previous year JEE-Mains. So if you will do these type of questions, you can get a brief knowledge of how of which type of questions are asked from these kind of chapters in your paper. So let's start with the very first question. The number of real one second. So the number of real roots of the equation x mod x minus 5 times mod of x plus 2 plus 6 equal to 0. बेसिकली मेरे को एक इक्वेशन दी गई है और मेरे को इस इक्वेशन के रियल रूट्स बताने हैं. तो रियल रूट्स बताने के लिए पहले मेरे को दो चीज करनी पड़ेगी. अगर मैं पेन लूँ तो सी पहले मेरे को देखना पड़ेगा कि मेरा मॉड जो है यहाँ पे कहाँ पे ब्रेक हो रहा है. सो सो बेसिकली मॉड एक्स है ये, तो एक्स इक्वल टू जीरो पे ब्रेक होगा. मतलब एक्स लेस देन जीरो के लिए माइनस एक्स खुलेगा और एक्स ग्रेटर देन जीरो के लिए प्लस एक्स खुलेगा. सो ये ब्रेक होगा एक्स इक्वल टू जीरो पे. और सिमिलरली जो मेरा एक्स प्लस टू है ये ब्रेक होगा माइनस टू पे. This will break at minus 2. Why so? Because we know that x plus 2, when we take minus 3, it will become negative. So it will open with a minus sign. But when we will take something beyond plus minus 2, let's say minus 1, then it is only positive. So positive will open with plus sign only. So basically जो मेरा ये वाला मॉड है ये जीरो पे ब्रेक हो रहा है और जो मेरा ये वाला मॉड है ये माइनस टू पे ब्रेक हो रहा है. So now we have to make the cases and then solve this question basically. So firstly taking case 1, कौन कौन से केसेस है मेरे पास. x less than minus 2, then x between 0 and 2, 0 and minus 2, sorry, and then x greater than 0. These are the three cases. ठीक है. तो मेरे को इन तीन केसेस के लिए इस इक्वेशन को अलग अलग सॉल्व करना पड़ेगा बिकॉज इन तीनों केसेस में ये इक्वेशन का जो मॉड है वो अलग अलग तरीके से ओपन होगा. फॉर x less than minus 2, I know this would be negative, and if this would be negative then this will open with a negative sign, so minus x square minus 5 times again for x less than minus 2, this would be negative. You can take an example of minus 3. Minus 3 plus 2 is minus 1. So since it is coming out to be negative, so it will open with a negative sign. So negative negative will become positive. So it would be plus 5x plus 10. So plus 5x plus 10 plus 6 equal to 0. So this is my final equation for case number 1. Now you can solve this equation using Sridharacharya, where x is equal to, I think you should know this formula, but if you don't know, so let me write it down. X is equal to minus b plus minus root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. This is a very basic formula we studied in class, I think 7th or 8th, but let me write it down. So here b is minus 5, so it would be minus of minus 5, so plus 5 plus minus b square, 5 square is 25 minus 4ac. A is 1 and c is minus 16. So 4 into 16 is 64. So minus 64 would be plus 64 because minus minus will become positive. So upon 2a, a is 1. Equation is something like this: ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. This is my equation. Cool. So in this equation, I'm saying a is 1, b is minus 5, and c is minus 16. So on solving, we got this value of x. One value this and one is with positive sign. But we know that 5 minus root 89 by 2. This value is not, this value is greater than minus 2. And we are solving for x less than minus 2. So basically, the positive one, which would be positive, that would be greater than minus 2. So that would be neglected. Only this one would be accepted because this is less than minus 2. So let me remove the minus sign, plus sign, sorry. So this is the only acceptable solution. Why so? Because the other solution where we are getting a positive sign, that solution would be greater than -2. But since we are solving for x less than -2, so we can say that only one solution is acceptable in this case, which is 5 minus root 89 upon 2, because this solution is less than -2. Okay. On the similar hand, we will solve the other cases. Now coming on to the next case of 0 to -2. So for 0 to -2, we know again this would be negative only. Take an example of -1. So it would be negative. So again it will open with a negative sign. So minus x square minus 5 times mod of x plus 2. Now take an example of -1. So this will be open with a positive sign because 2 minus 1 is positive. So we can say that x plus 2 will open with a positive sign only. So minus 5 times x plus 2 plus 6 equal to 0. This is my final equation. Now just solve it. X square plus 5x plus 4 equal to 0. You can make its factors. Take 4 in 1. X square plus 4x plus x plus 4 equal to 0. So now take x common. You will get x plus 4 plus 1 equal to 0. So x equal to -1 is one solution and x equal to -4 is one solution. But again, the -4 is beyond the range because we are solving for x between 0 and -2. But -4 is beyond -2, so it will be neglected, and x equal to -1 is the solution from this case. So for now, we have got two solutions, x equal to -1, and second solution is 5 minus root 89 upon 2. 5 minus root 89 upon 2. Now for third case, let's solve for x greater than 0. For x greater than equal to 0, again we will solve. So for x greater than 0, my equation would be something like this na, x mod x minus 5 times mod of x plus 2 plus 6 equal to 0. This was my equation, and I know that for x greater than 0, let's take x equal to 1. This would be positive only, so it will be x square. And for x greater than 0, this will also be positive. So this will also open with a positive sign. So minus 5 times x plus 2 plus 6 equal to 0. So this is my overall equation for x greater than 0. ठीक है, अब इसको भी वैसे सॉल्व करेंगे जैसे बाकी सॉल्व किया था. ये मेरी इक्वेशन आई. I applied the Sridharacharya formula and I got these two solutions plus minus. But again, since I am looking for the x which is greater than 0, so I can say that 5 minus root 41 upon 2 is only acceptable. Why? Because 5 plus root 41 upon 2 is beyond my range. मेरी रेंज के बाहर है वो, तो वो एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर सकते हम लोग, क्योंकि मेरे को सिर्फ वो वाली चीज चाहिए जो मेरे रेंज के अंदर हो. सो आई होप यू गॉट इट. बस इतना सही था इसमें. एक्चुअली यहाँ पे प्लस होगा, पॉजिटिव वाला एक्सेप्ट करेंगे हम लोग, क्योंकि 5 माइनस रूट 41 अपॉन 2 वुड बी लेस देन 0, सो दैट वुड बी नेग्लेक्टेड because you can say that 36 is root 36 is 6, so it would be greater than 6 also. So 5 minus 6 would be negative, but we want greater than 0. That's why we will only take the positive one, not negative one. This would be positive, and these are the three solutions of my question. Cool. Pretty simple question था. Just you have to make the cases, break the mode, make different type of cases, and then you can easily proceed. Okay, moving ahead. Let alpha beta be the roots of equation x square minus root 2x plus 2 equal to 0. Then alpha power 14 plus beta power 14 is equal to what? Okay, so basically मेरे को एक equation दिए यहाँ पे, and they are telling me that alpha and beta are roots of this equation. Then what's the value of alpha power 14 and beta power 14? इसका वैल्यू क्या होगी मुझसे ये पूछा है. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे मैं देख सकता हूँ जो मेरा a है वो तो 1 ही है, b है -√2 एंड c इज इक्वल टू 2. ठीक है, तो बस जो इसके रूट्स है मैं वो निकाल लेता हूँ. रूट्स क्या होता है अभी मैंने बताया था. ऐसे तो ये लिखा हुआ है, लेकिन अगर ये दिख नहीं रहा ढंग से तो x इज इक्वल टू माइनस बी प्लस माइनस रूट ऑफ बी स्क्वायर माइनस 4ac अपॉन 2a. So this is the equation for my roots. Now just put the values. B is minus root 2, so it would be root 2 plus minus b square minus 4ac upon 2a. So these are your two equations, two roots, and they are asking me the value of alpha power 14 and beta power 14. So you can see that the both of your roots are coming to be complex numbers. So basically alpha is also a complex number and beta is also a complex number. Okay? So we know that we can solve it using De-Moivre's theorem, which is r cos theta plus iota sin theta power something is r cos n theta. What is De-Moivre's theorem? R cos theta plus iota times sin theta power n. Here also power n. We can apply De-Moivre's theorem, and according to De-Moivre's theorem, this thing is equal to r power n cos of n theta plus iota times sine of n theta. Sine of n theta. Cool. Sorry. So this is my De Morgan's theorem. So let's try to convert this thing in the polar form. So for converting into the polar form, we need r. So how to calculate r? R is nothing but root of imaginary square plus real square. So imaginary is root 2 upon 2. So इसका square हो जाएगा 2 by 4. Basically 1 upon 2 plus this is 6 upon 4. So 6 upon 4 is 3 upon 2. So this would be basically 4 upon 2. So root of 2 is root 2 only. So my r is coming out to be root 2. This is nothing but real square plus imaginary square. So in this way I calculated my radius. And now to calculate theta. Theta is nothing but we will use tan theta. Tan theta is equal to root 6 upon 2 upon root 3, which implies root 6 upon root 3 upon root 2, sorry. So that is equal to root 3. And we know that tan theta equal to root 3 implies theta equal to pi by 3 because tan 60 is root 3. So theta is my pi by 3. So I have got the value of r, I have got the value of theta. Now I can easily convert this thing into my polar form, which is r times e to the power iota theta, e to the power iota pi by 3, and here it will be minus pi by 3 because there is a minus sign. So we will take minus here, we will take minus here, and we will get theta equal to minus pi by 3. So basically these two roots can be written as root 2 power, ये लिखता हूँ ना मैं r e की power iota theta, where e की power iota theta represents cos theta plus iota sin theta. So e to the power iota theta represents cos theta plus iota sin theta. So I can write alpha in this form. So alpha is equal to and beta is equal to, as I told you, r e की power iota theta. R is my root 2, and in one case there would be positive sign, in one case there would be negative sign. So root 2 e to the power iota pi by 3, and in second case it would be root 2 e to the power minus iota pi by 3. Cool. So these are my two roots, alpha and beta. Now what I want to calculate alpha power 14 plus beta power 14. Cool. So calculate it individually. We know this is my alpha. So take it to the power of 14. You will get root 2 power 14, which is 2 power 7. And I told you, using De Morgan's theorem, you can write it e to the power iota n theta. So 14 pi by 3. And we know that 14 pi by 3 is basically 2 pi by 3 only, because 14 pi by 3 is how much? 14 into 180 upon 3. This thing is 60. So this thing is how much? 840 degrees, which implies 360, then again 360, 720, and 720, then 840 implies 820, 840 implies 120 degrees. So basically, this is somewhat 120 degrees only. So we can write this 14 pi by 3 is 14 pi by 3 equal to 2 pi by 3, because it is completing two whole circles and then one circle till 120 degrees. So 14 pi by 3 is equivalent to 2 pi by 3. Why? Because 840 is nothing but 360 plus 360 plus 120. So root 2 power 14 is 2 power 7, and e to the power iota pi by 3 power 14 is e to the power iota 2 pi by 3. Similarly, I can do with beta 2 to the power 7, just here it is positive sign, here it would be negative sign. So this is the value of alpha power 14, and this is the value of beta power 14. Now just add them both. So on adding, we know that 120 will come common, and this is e to the power जो मेरा e to the power iota theta होगा, that would be cos theta plus iota sin theta, cos theta plus iota sin theta, and my e to the power minus iota theta will be 9 minus, so only cos term will be remaining. So let me show it. Cos theta minus iota sin theta. So basically, when you will add these two, plus iota sin theta and minus iota sin theta will get cancelled, and you would be left with 2 cos theta only. So 128 into 2 into cos theta, and we know that cos 128 is nothing but minus half. So 128 into 2 into minus half is minus 128. So this is my final answer. ठीक है? So इसमें अपन ने क्या किया पहले? Firstly, we calculated the value of our alpha and beta using Sridharacharya's formula, and then after calculating the value, we simply converted into De-Moivre's theorem, and after applying De-Moivre's theorem, simply add them. Sine component will get cancelled, and you will be left with only cos component. Put down the values of each and every component, and you will get your final answer as minus 128. Cool. Okay, then moving ahead. This question. The set of all A belonging to real for which the equation this thing has exactly one real root. So again, I have been given with one question in quadratic form, and they are saying that A की ऐसे में क्या वैल्यू लूं कि मेरे को इसका exactly one ही रूट मिले. Okay. So firstly, let me erase this thing. तो बेसिकली यहाँ पे मैं वही केसेस बनाऊंगा. ये वाला मेरा कहाँ पे ब्रेक करेगा? At x equal to 1, because I have to break it when the inside part becomes 0. So it will become 0 for x equal to 1. Similarly, it will become 0 for x equal to minus 2. So basically, you have again three cases: x less than minus 2, x between minus 2 and 1, x between minus 2 and 1, and then x greater than 1. Cool. So these are the three cases. So again, take these three cases: case 1, case 2, and then case 3. Take x less than minus 2. For x less than minus 2, this would be negative. So this will open with a negative sign. So basically, you will get minus x square and plus x. Then for x less than minus 2, this will also open with a negative sign. Let's say minus 3. So minus x minus 2 plus a equal to 0. So basically, from here, you are getting this value of a, x square plus 2. But what you are saying is, you are saying that it should have exactly one real root. तो x square plus 2 का जो ग्राफ होता है वो कुछ इस टाइप का होता है, y equal to x square plus 2 for negative part only, and we know that x square plus 2 का जो ग्राफ होगा for x equal to 0 it will pass to the y equal to 2. So basically that graph would be something like this. For we need it for x less than -2. So basically x less than -2 के लिए मतलब इस रीजन के लिए this graph is my decreasing graph. So basically वो चीज लिखी हुई है कि this thing is decreasing in the region -∞ to -2. ठीक है? So this information we got from solving case 1. So this is the result of case 1. Coming on to case 2, between -2 and 1. Again, between -2 and 1, I know that this will to open with a negative sign only. Let's say take the example of 0. So this will open with a negative sign, so minus x square plus x. But this will open with a positive sign. So it would be x plus 2 only, plus a equal to 0. So from here, you are getting this value of a. Now make the graph of this equation, and you will see that, let me make the graph. This thing can be written as x minus 1 square minus 3. So at x equal to 0, this thing would be 1 minus 3 minus 2. So basically -2 पे x equal to 0 पर आएगा ये, and then it will go something like this. Cool. So basically इसका जो रीजन है -2 से -1 वाला, -2 से 1 वाला, मतलब लेट्स से यहाँ -2 पे कहाँ पर रहेगा, -2 पे दिस वुड बी एट 9 minus 3 6. So -2 पे it would be something here, and at x equal to 1 it would be at -3. So x equal to 1 पे this would be at -3. So -3 is somewhat more downside, so the graph would be something like this, not like this. So let me use the earlier one. Cool. So this is my, let's say x equal to 1. So from -2 to 1, again my graph is in the decreasing region only. So this thing is also decreasing. That's what is written here. You can simply make the graph, just convert it into this form, where make it a perfect square and then add whatever you need. Then you can simply draw the graph. So in this region also it is decreasing. In this region it is also decreasing. Now coming on to case 3, where we will take x greater than or equal to 1. For x greater than or equal to 1, we know that this will also be positive, this will also be positive. Take x equal to 2, you will see it is positive. Again here, take x equal to 2, you will see x equal to positive. So taking positive sign, you will get this thing. And this graph is similar to previous one, just with a negative sign. That is, it would be something like this. So for x greater than or equal to 1, which implies this region, this is again decreasing. You can see it is going downward. So it is decreasing in 1 to infinity. So basically जो मेरा a आ रहा है तीनों ही केस में, it is coming out to be decreasing function. ठीक है? And since a is decreasing function, we need exactly one root. Uh, we need exactly one root for which x is belonging to real, basically. So that's why we can say that this condition is true. That is my, what we say, a is, since a is decreasing, so we can say that a is exactly one root. So basically ये होता है कि मान लो आपका कोई भी फंक्शन है वो हर रेंज में डिक्रीजिंग ही है, तो अगर मेरा a डिक्रीजिंग है तो ऑब्वियसली बात है वो एक्स एक्सिस को एक ही पोजीशन में कट करेगा. ठीक है? So I can say that my a is decreasing, so I have exactly one real root. So I hope you got it. This was not tricky, but you have to understand it. ठीक है। सो बेसिकली ए का जो हॉरिजन आ रहा है उसमें वो डिक्रीजिंग ही आ रहा है। सो सिंस इट इज कमिंग आउट टू बी डिक्रीजिंग, सो यू कैन से दैट यू विल ओनली गेट वन वैल्यू वेयर यू विल गेट एग्जैक्टली वन रूट, बिकॉज डिक्रीजिंग रेगुलरली डिक्रीजिंग का मतलब ये होता है कि वो कहीं पे भी टर्न नहीं ले रहा है। सिंस इट इज नॉट टेकिंग टर्न एनीवेयर, सो इट विल नॉट कट योर एक्स एक्सिस ट्वाइस बेसिकली. So you can completely say that since a is decreasing, so you can take the interval of a to be whole real line, which is from minus infinity to infinity. Simple. Minus infinity to infinity, because your a is coming out to be decreasing in each and every region, so you can take a anything since it is coming out to be decreasing, because we know that x less than minus 2 it will come from minus infinity, and x greater than 1 it will go towards infinity. So basically मैं पूरे रीजन में बोल सकता हूँ कि मेरा a decreasing है, so it will cut x axis for only once, so you will get only one real root. So you can take a to be whole real line, which implies a belongs to minus infinity to infinity. Okay. Let alpha beta be the roots of the quadratic equation x square plus root 6x plus 3 equal to 0. Then this thing is equal to what? So basically इसमें आपको एक इक्वेशन दी हुई है, एंड अगेन आपको इसमें अल्फा बीटा रूट्स निकालने हैं, एंड अल्फा बीटा रूट्स निकालने के बाद अल्फा बीटा पे कुछ इन्होंने इक्वेशन दी है, मेरे को वो सॉल्व करके फाइनल आंसर बताना है. ठीक है. So again, this thing is simple. You need to first calculate alpha beta using Shridharacharya formula. So this is your equation, and in this equation you can say that roots are given by minus b plus minus root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. So this thing is equal to alpha and beta. ठीक है. So a equal to 1, b equal to root 6 and c equal to 3. यहाँ से अपन देख सकते हैं. Put the values of a, b and c. You will get the values of alpha and beta. So basically these are the values of alpha and beta. Minus root 6 plus minus, I hope you can see it, minus root 6 plus minus root 6 iota upon 2. These are the values of my alpha and beta, as we can see here. Okay. Now, as I told you in the previous question also, since they are asking you to take the power and your answer is coming out to be in terms of complex numbers, so this thing in polar form. किसमें convert करेंगे हम लोग इसको? Convert in the polar form. सो पोलर फॉर्म में चेंज करने के लिए वापस वही करेंगे, रूट ऑफ ए स्क्वायर प्लस बी स्क्वायर. सो जब हम रूट ऑफ ए स्क्वायर प्लस बी स्क्वायर करेंगे, दिस वुड बी 6 अपॉन 4 प्लस अगेन 6 अपॉन 4. So you will be getting 12 upon 4, which is 3. So r is equal to root 3, and tan theta is equal to root 6 upon root 6, which would be 1 only. So you will be getting e to the power plus minus iota 3 pi by 4, because tan 3 pi by 4 is 1. So basically you can say that you have got the values of alpha and beta. Okay. एंड सिंस अगर आपको एंगल समझ में नहीं आया तो एंगल ऐसे निकलेगा, tan थीटा इक्वल टू neglect this plus minus, basically you will be getting root 6 upon minus root 6, that will be minus 1. So theta equal to, we know that tan theta equal to minus 1 implies theta equal to 3 pi by 4, and now you will take one positive, one negative according to this sign. So basically these are your two roots. Then after applying two roots, now it is simple. You can simply take whatever is asked to you, alpha power 23 plus beta power 23. So again, alpha power 23 is this thing, and beta power 23 is something. Again, one would be plus sine theta, one would be negative sine theta. That would cancel, and ultimately you will be getting this expression. Again, do the same calculation. Do e to the power iota n theta. In e to the power iota n theta, cos n theta plus iota sin n theta plus cos n theta plus minus iota sin n theta. So that sine terms will get cancelled ultimately, and you would be left with this expression. And calculating this expression is easy. You can simply put on the values of cos, and you will get your final answer. Okay, and let me try to solve 16 pi by 4. Again, जैसे मैंने उसमें बताया था कि वो that thing reduced to 120 degrees. Similarly, this will also reduce. So if I will tell you how. So 69 into 180 upon 4. This thing is how much? 45 degrees. So this thing is something around 69 into 45. So it would be 17 into 180. Uh, 17 pi as it is written here plus 45 degrees. Basically, you can take it 68 into 45 plus 45. And we know that 17 fours are 68. So 17 and 45 into 4 is 180, which implies pi. So 17 pi plus 45 degrees. And since it is 17 pi, so 1 pi, 2 pi, 3, 4, 5, 6, ऐसे करके 17 pi would be here because 2 pi will come out to 0 again. So 17 pi would be something here and 45 degrees would be something here. So basically this is your angle, which is how much? 180 plus 45. Okay, so 180 plus 45 or okay, so in that way you can simplify your cost function and then you can get your final answer, which we are getting here to be equal to how much? Root 3 power 15 minus 7. You can simplify it further. Root 3 power how much? 8. And this thing is 3 power 4, which is 81. So 81 is your final answer. Okay, so this will come out to be equal to, this thing is wrong here, I think is, this thing is 3 pi by 4. Okay, so I guess now you can solve this question because you have to just put the values and you will get the final answer. Cool. Okay, then let's move ahead. And you can do one more thing here. Since you have to calculate cost components, so you can directly take the cos of 17 pi plus pi by 4. You don't need to calculate cos 3 pi by 4 because when you will directly take the cos component, you know that in a multiple of pi, it remains cos and 17 pi would be somewhere here and 17 pi was something is this quadrant. And we know that this is a quadrant for tan. You know, the formula is, one second, the formula is ASTC, where here all are positive, here only sign is positive, here tan is positive, and here cos is positive. And we are getting something like 17 pi plus pi by 4. So 17 pi would be somewhere here, and pi by 4 is somewhat here. So this is the house of tan. So basically, you will be getting minus cos pi by 4. Okay. So do the same thing here, and you will get your final answer. So I guess it is similar question which we did in the previous slides. So now let's move ahead to this question. Question number whatever. This is a question on inequalities. So here let x belonging to real and root 3 plus root 2 power x square minus 4 plus root 3 minus root 2 power x square minus 4 equal to 10. Then n is equal to how much they are asking. Basically मेरे को एक set दिया हुआ है and then they are asking how many elements belong to this set. Okay, so this is the basic meaning of this question. So सबसे पहले तो मेरे को इस चीज को simplify करना पड़ेगा. मैं अगर इस चीज को लेकर चलूंगा then it would be causing great sort of trouble because firstly एक तो irrational है, ऊपर से irrational की power में something which I don't know because it is in terms of x, so I can't take this thing and solve this question. So I assume this thing to be equal to some t, and since it is minus root 2, so I know that in case of irrational numbers, when I got a minus sign, it is simply 1 upon root 3 plus root 2. So if this is t, this is 1 by t. How? You can check it also when you will do 1 upon root 3 plus root 2 and then multiply it by root 3 minus root 2, root 3 minus root 2 upon root 3 minus root 2. Then you can simply see you are getting root 3 minus root 2. Why? Because denominator you would be getting a square minus b square, which is equal to 1. So this is your root 3 minus root 2. So if this is t, then this would be 1 upon t. So basically what is given to you? They are saying that the value of t plus 1 by t is equal to 10. So this is a quadratic equation. T square plus 1 minus 10t is equal to 0. This is my equation. Again, apply Sridharacharya formula, you will get the values of t. T is this thing. And we know that this thing is equal to root 3 plus root 2 power something. But root 3 plus root 2 का जो square होता है, that is equal to 5 plus 2 root 6. So my value of x square minus 4 is equal to 2. So x square is equal to 6, which implies, this is a sign of implying x equal to plus minus root 6. This is my first result for x, where my x is equal to plus minus root 6. So basically मैंने क्या किया, मेरे को जो एक्सप्रेशन दिया हुआ था उसको मैंने लेट किया समथिंग इक्वल टू t. So root 3 plus root 2 power x square minus 4 is my equal to t, and root 3 minus root 2 power x square minus 4 is my 1 by t. Then I got this quadratic equation, and when I saw that this thing is something like that, so when I square root 3 plus root 2, I will get this thing. So my x square minus 4 is equal to 2. From there, I got my final value for x as plus minus root 6. So x is equal to plus minus root 6, and this is for my first case. My one case is also negative, so that is 5 minus 2 root 6. That is root 3 minus root 2 square, and here it is x square minus 4. So basically, x square minus 4 hmm, 1 second, here they have done something wrong. So basically, I got two values for t. One is 5 plus 2 root 6, and the other is 5 minus 2 root 6. And I know that 5 minus 2 root 6 is its square. Why? Because this would be a square plus b square minus 2ab, so minus 2 root 6, which is 5 minus 2 root 6. So basically, from here I am getting 5 minus 2 root 6 to be equal to this thing square. And I know that I took this thing to be equal to root 3 minus root 2 power x square minus 4. So root 3 minus root 2 power x square minus 4 is 1 by t. So basically root 3 minus root 2 power minus 1. Why? Because I told you that in case of irrational numbers, the when you will take the reciprocal of this thing, you will get root 3 minus root 2. So that's why you can say that this thing power minus 1 is x square minus 4, and this thing is equal to its square. So from here you're getting the values of x as plus minus root 2. And they were asking you ns, so you can say that in your ns you are basically calculating the values of x. So your ns is equal to plus minus root 6 and plus minus root 2. Cool. So take a breath and try to see it. ओके, आई गेस समझ में आ गया होगा। यहाँ से मैंने सिंपली टी निकाला, लेट मी रिवाइज इट फॉर यू। यहाँ से मैंने सिंपली टी निकाला सबसे पहले क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन सॉल्व करके। वहां से मेरे को टी की दो वैल्यूज मिली, एंड आई नो दैट आई हैव इक्वेटेड माय टी टू दिस थिंग। सो बेसिकली माय फर्स्ट टी वाज 5 plus 2 root 6, and I know that this thing is simply root 3 plus root 2 square. So root 3 plus root 2 का square is equal to this thing. So यहाँ से मुझे x की वैल्यू मिल गई प्लस माइनस रूट 6। देन सेकंड को भी मैं यहीं पे सॉल्व करके बताऊँ एक बार। तो सेकंड वाई जो मेरा सेकंड वाला था, my second one was something like 5 minus 2 root 6. And I know that this thing is also equal to my t, which is equal to this thing, root 3 plus root 2 power x square minus 4. And to calculate different value of x, I can take it to be equal to root 3 minus root 2 power minus 1. So that minus 1 would come here and it would become something like this. And this thing is equal to root 3 minus root 2 square. So why I converted this root 3 plus root 2 into this thing? To equate both these two conditions. From here I'm getting 4 minus x square equal to 2. So from here you can say that your x is equal to plus minus root 2, simple. Okay, so basically you have been asked the value of ns. So basically since you're getting 4 values, so ns is equal to 4. Cool. So now let's move on to next question. The equation e power 4x plus 8 e power 3x plus 13 e power 2x minus 8 e power x plus 1 equal to 0 has how many solutions? तो मेरे को एक चीज तो पता है, अगर ये नहीं पता तो इसको अपने नोट्स में लिख लेना कि जो मेरा e पावर x का ग्राफ है, that can never be equal to 0 because e power x is asymptote to 0 line, which implies e power x is equal to 0 at only at x equal to minus infinity. So this thing can never be equal to 0. सो एट मैक्स क्या हो सकता है, मेरी ये चीज जीरो को टेंड कर सकती है, बट दिस थिंग कैन जो बट क्योंकि यहाँ पे सब्ट्रैक्शन भी है तो मेरे को इस चीज को जीरो पे ले जा सकता हूँ कि नहीं ले जा सकता, वो मुझे चेक करना पड़ेगा। अगर सारे पॉजिटिव होते हैं तब तो मैं सीधे बोलता कि आई हैव नो रूट्स बिकॉज ई पावर एक्स कैन नेवर बी इक्वल टू जीरो। ठीक है, सो अब इसको चेक करने के लिए क्या चेक करूंगा मैं, आई विल लेट माई ई पावर एक्स इक्वल टू टी। फ्रॉम देयर आई विल गेट दिस बाय क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन t power 4 plus 8t cube plus 13t square minus 8t plus 1 equal to 0. Now to solve this thing, I will observe symmetry. Here is also 8 and here is also 8. So whenever you get a biquadratic equation, this is always a method. हमेशा इसको ध्यान रखना कि जब भी biquadratic equation मिले, you have to divide the equation by t square. After dividing it by t square, you can see that you are getting some of the a plus b square and a minus b square type formulas. So here you are getting t square plus 1 by t square, which you can combine, and here you are getting t plus t minus 1 by t, which also you can combine. So you wrote it in the similar form, and then you simply take the a minus b square, which is t square, plus 1 by t square minus 1, and then here would be 8t minus 1 by t plus 30. सो बेसिकली मैंने इसको t माइनस वन बाई टी के फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट कर लिया। वाई? बिकॉज अब मैं इसको सिंप्लीफाई करने के लिए t माइनस वन बाई टी को कुछ लेट कर सकता हूँ। लेट्स से a b, या फिर यहाँ पे z लेट किया तो z कुछ भी मैं लेट कर सकता हूँ। तो हमेशा ध्यान रखना इस बात को, मेक इट अ हैबिट, मेक इट अ रूल, वॉट एवर, whenever you got a biquadratic equation, divide it by square of that, whatever b is your independent variable. So here since it is t, so I divided by t square, and then I converted it into quadratic equation. So I got this quadratic equation. From there I got my two roots. And since I got two roots, put it in the my original equation, which is t minus 1 by t. So put it in t minus 1 by t. So t minus 1 by t is either equal to minus 3 or either equal to minus 5. So basically you are getting two values for t minus 1 by t, minus 3 and minus 5. So on solving, you will again get two quadratic equation. This is one quadratic equation, this is the another one. So two quadratic equations, when you will solve for these two, you will get values of t. And we know that we initially assumed e power x equal to t. So e power x equal to t implies, as I told you, that e power x is always positive. So t can never be negative. So t is always greater than 0. So since you are getting two values for t, you will check which one is negative. Root 13 minus 3 and root 29 minus 5. Here you can see you are getting minus 3 minus root 13 upon 2. And since both are negative, so this implies here from here you will get t negative. So ignore this value. Similarly, coming on to this point, here you are getting minus 5 minus root 29. So that one root will also be less than 0. So neglect that one also. So basically you are getting two values for t. One is root 13 minus 3 upon 2 and the other one is root 29 minus 5 upon 2. These two are greater than 0 because root 13 is somewhat close to 4 and root 29 is somewhat close to 6. Well, not exactly, but it is greater than 5 and it is greater than 3. So since these two values of t are positive, so you can take e power x equal to these things. So e power x is equal to root 13 minus 3 upon 2 and similarly the second one. So from here you know how to remove e, just take ln both sides. So ln of root 13 minus 3 upon 2. This is my one value for x and the second value is ln of root 20 and minus 5 upon 2. So basically you are getting two solutions and both are negative because the graph of ln is somewhat like this, which is negative for x less than 1 and this is also less than 1 and this is also less than 1. So basically you are getting two solutions and both are negative. So A part is the right answer. Simple. Just firstly assume e power x equal to some variable. After assuming it, take the uh, you will get a biquadratic equation. फिर उस biquadratic equation का हमेशा rule बना लो, ये मैंने बताया. उसको divide करना है t square से. After dividing by t square, you will get some equation in this form, and then just assume t minus 1 by t whole square plus something like this. You will get a quadratic equation. Solve it. देन अगेन यू विल गेट टू, मतलब बेसिकली यहाँ पे आपको चार क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन सॉल्व करनी पड़ेगी. उसके बाद आपको जो टी की वैल्यूज मिलेगी, जो नेगेटिव वाली मिलेगी उनको नेग्लेक्ट कर देना. ओनली टेक पॉजिटिव वंस and positive ones. You will get your final answer as x equal to ln of this thing and x equal to ln of this thing. So you are getting two solutions and we are done. So A part is my right answer. And why they are negative? Because ln of this thing and ln of this thing both are less than 0 and ln is only positive for x greater than 1. But this value and this value both are greater than 0 but less than 1. So you are getting both values to be negative. So this is my final solution. This question has been asked in JEE Mains many times because इस टाइप के क्वेश्चन बहुत बार आ चुके हैं कि जब आपको पहले बाइक क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन दी रहेगी, उसके बाद उससे दो क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन बनेगी, उसको आपको सॉल्व करना पड़ेगा. तो इस कॉन्सेप्ट को एक बार अच्छे से देख लेना बिकॉज दिस इज एन इम्पॉर्टेंट वन. एंड रेस्ट आई होप जो मैंने आज बताया वो समझ में आया होगा. टफ नहीं था, मैं वापस वही बोल रहा हूँ. जस्ट प्रैक्टिस इज द की टू सक्सेस. तो वो देख लेना आप लोग. एंड बाकी आई गेस वी हैव डन. सो नाउ लेट्स एंड दिस सेशन.